when William Ruto says that he thinks that he will be re-elected as president based on how well he has done, let me tell him advice. He is the guy who speaks not to do. So maybe what we need is that we need another co-president who is doing while he's talking. If he says that he has done all this, Kenyans no longer care about what he has done. But Kenyans now care about what he has done that he was not supposed to do. One, killing people. So even if you are a good husband with food as home, but you're cheating on your wife and is making her disgraceful, there's nothing else you can do to make her happy. It's about what you did that even if you didn't think you were supposed to do. So the president will go home not because of what he is supposed to do and he didn't do. It's about what he was not supposed to do, but he did. No one expected William Ruto to abduct our kids. Nobody expected him to kill them. Nobody expected him to. I want to start by saying that if we want to look at these things without having emotions around it, we have to start by asking, how should you evaluate any government in office? And I'm sure there are lawyers like Ndengwa Njiru here will tell you that if you look at what the state of the art addressed, state of the nation addressed to parliament should constitute, that is normally how you should evaluate a president, based on one, national security, two, they usually talk about rule of law and advancement of rights of Kenyans. Three, you should always evaluate the president on what are national good, what we would call public good, like education, healthcare, food security, among all those things. So if you want to rate William Ruto without bias, you just first of all have to look at how he's performing against those things. And with that, you consider a matrix which has like four elements. One is service delivery. How speedy are citizens receiving services in getting IDs, getting voters cards, getting things like passports, name it, just getting title deeds registered, those things. And then quality of the service. So speed and quality is key. If you ask that question, the answer can be yours. I don't want to give my opinion at this time because my look bias. The second thing is citizen satisfaction. Pollsters, what are the pollsters saying about the approval ratings? Like, for example, if Kenya was supposed to go for midterm election, how many of Ruto's henchmen, if you like, will come back? And how can he come back himself in a free and fair election? That is what he calls citizen satisfaction. It's measured on the polls. The third thing is efficiency. Efficiency is that the president receives money from taxpayers' money. How well has he used it? And the president borrows money using sovereign instruments. How does he use it? So it's about input. What input is he getting? For example, we collect around 2.8, 2.9 trillion from KRA, and then we borrow, as you know, the amount of money we are borrowing so far. How have the president put that money to get the output Kenyans want, to realize the expected output and therefore make the impact we want? So that is the third way to measure. And the last one is financial management. How are you managing debt? But I want to talk about, first of all, budget. How disciplined are we with our budget? In the first year of the president, he did around 43 supplementary budgets, which means that is guesswork, but you can go on and check others. How are we increasing revenue collection? Because that's very important. How are you putting money in sectors of the economy that can generate highest revenue so that the economy can grow? And the third one, under financial management, is about benefits. What are the public goods citizens are getting? For example, transition from primary to secondary education, transition from secondary to university education, and also job creation. You go to the areas of healthcare. What percentage of bed do we have occupancy in Nairobi? For example, physician per population, teacher per population, HDU, ICU. So there are clear matrices to measure this without bias. And I'm just saying this so that as you speak other speakers, you can either add more matrices or use this matrix as a mirror upon which you can look at it. And then lastly, under financial management, return on investment, ROI. For 1 shilling Kenya, William Ruto has spent, what has Kenyans gotten? And we were talking the other day about corruption in the county government, not just Nairobi. We are talking about the corruption in national government and all the rest. So generally, that's how you should evaluate an economy. And I just wanted to end my submissions by making 4 submissions, then I close shortly. First of all, I want to respond to my brother Fred Ogolla, who says that they are working with the government for the benefit of Kenyans. I guess that you know very well that opinion poll shows that people don't approve of broad-based government. So if you think you are working for Kenyans, maybe that's just what you think. But maybe Kenyans don't understand that's why you're working. Maybe you need to communicate it much better, or at least do it the right way. Because Kenyans just believe broad-based government is a handshake of having brought people who are not supposed to be in government. The second thing about this job creation of 5 million people that William talked about, let me tell you, I have a history when I was in St. Mary's Yala where one child was went home with a report book. And he made his own report book. But what he did was he took the report book from the teacher when he was in Form 2, and he was trying to add grades because he was afraid of his parent knowing that his grades are very bad. But he did not improve the comment. So on the section of the grade, he wrote 96, but the comment is very poor. Another section was he gave himself 89, and then they say very poor. So when the parent took this grade of this child, he was amazed that the teacher hates the child, that how can the child score 96 and the teacher says very poor. So he didn't know that the child generated the grades for himself. So William Ruto seemed to have generated a grade for himself, what I call self-scorecarding himself. Like he said, he has stabilized the economy, he has done blah, 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 everything is working very well. But he has not changed the comments. Kenyans are commenting and saying, we are not seeing SHA working, we are not seeing education working, there is no job Kenyans are getting. So he needs to ensure that not just giving himself 98%, while the comments are saying very poor. While he says that he has scored very highly, Kenyans are saying terrible. So what Kenyans feel, the touch and feel of the economy is far from it. In fact, the president has been feeding only 5,000 people around him, and this is not just him since independence. And you say that is 0.5%. And I want to add that those 5,000 people are the ones whom he's saying he has given jobs. Those 5,000 people are the ones whose healthcare is working, universal health coverage. Those 1,000 people are the people he can say he has stabilized the economy, but the opposite is true. And I want to give my second last statement by saying, first, if you look at William Ruto as an economist, the economic map he's using to take us to Singapore, Korea, and the rest is wrong, because he's using the map for a country like Somalia or a country like Venezuela to take us where Singapore is. If you look at the borrowing he's doing, Singapore didn't borrow like that. Japan didn't. They are doing a lot of savings to the economy. They have a lean and clean government. So the map he's using is wrong. You can't go to heaven with the map of the devil. You have to at least talk to God to give you the right map to go to heaven. And God said, the route to hell is paved with good intentions, but to hell it has full of thorns and pain. And I think that is the route maybe Kenya needs to walk. And I want to end by saying, when William Ruto says that he thinks that he will be re-elected as president based on how well he has done, let me tell him advice. President by nature does not need advisors, does not need communication advice. By his style of leadership, if you give an advisor, you'll destabilize him. If you give him a spokesperson, he won't be able to function. He is the guy who speaks, not to do. So maybe what we need is that we need another co-president who is doing while he's talking. But you cannot replace him with someone to speak and he's doing. He's not a doer. I don't think he was born to do. He was just born to talk. But when he's talk about personal things, then he does. So I want to end here by saying that if he says that he has done all this, Kenyans no longer care about what he has done. But Kenyans now care about what he has done that he was not supposed to do. One, killing people. So even if you are a good husband with food as home, but you're cheating on your wife and is making her disgraceful, there's nothing else you can do to make her happy. It's about what you did that even if you didn't think you were supposed to do. You are not supposed to kill people. You're not supposed to do abduction. You're not supposed to do these unlawful disappearances. You're not supposed to steal this money. You're not supposed to be borrowing this too much. So the president will go home not because of what he is supposed to do and he didn't do. It's about what he was not supposed to do, but he did. No one expected William Ruto to abduct our kids. Nobody expected him to kill them. Nobody expected him to disappear with them. Some kids are still missing. And I can tell you guys that do not be deceived by all these things you're talking about. Benji, if you allow me, Deval, just 1 minute. I want to respond to the economic improvement which you have just read, Deval, because I'm an economist. In God we trust, the rest being data. It could help in information. You've heard that inflation has improved, and you mentioned them. Debal, inflation are not reported in absolute terms. Inflation change with the time. So they are relative. So you can say that during Uhuru, oh, there was 9, now they are 5. No, there's a base that it settled in, then we start measuring from there. So inflations are worse. To know the truth, go with 1,000 shilling the supermarket and tell me what you buy with it. The Kenya shillings purchasing power should be measured, not the inflation just in figures. And if you look at the purchasing power of the Kenya shillings, it's been going down. And you should use that rather than talking about inflation.